Happy spring, friends! My favorite time of year, and I want to show you everything that's on my Easter menu this year. You really cannot beat a gorgeous glazed ham for Easter, and while you can serve a whole ham, I think it's a lot easier to make these half hams or butt portion hams. They serve about 10 to 15 people, and they're just right for my family. So first things first, I use a knife to just score the surface. You want to cut about 1/8 of an inch deep. Just kind of cut through the fat and skin. If you get a little meat, that's fine. But basically, I'm doing a crisscross pattern, so it's going to wind up being sort of a diamond pattern on the surface of the ham. Now grab some whole cloves, and you just want to stick a clove into the center of each diamond. You can do both sides of the ham, or you can kind of pick the prettiest side and just focus on that. It's totally up to you. Just keep sticking them in there. The cloves actually make it look extra pretty, but they also add a really nice subtle flavor while the ham is cooking. All right, so once the cloves are all in, grab a roasting pan, put about 1 cup or 2 of water in the bottom, set the ham in, cut side down, and then you want to cover it with 2 big sheets of heavy-duty foil. Just get it as sealed as you can, and that's going to trap in the moisture and keep the ham from drying out. Now, these hams are fully cooked, so really it's just about heating them up. So 325 for about 2.5 hours for my 10-pound ham, and I'm going to make the glaze while it gets started. This glaze is incredible, and it starts with 3 cups of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of spicy brown mustard, or you could do Dijon or even bright yellow mustard if that's your preference. And then probably the most important ingredient, crack open a can of the good stuff, Dr. Pepper, or you can use Coke, whatever you like. Dr. Pepper is always our preference. We live in Oklahoma after all. And then 3 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, just to cut through all that sweetness. Turn on the stove, and over about 15 minutes, you want to cook this glaze. It's going to start out pretty foamy and bubbly, and then pretty soon as it starts to heat up, you'll see it start to gently bubble around the edges. And then it really starts to take off. Stir it every now and then. You'll see the bubbles and foam start to die down a bit as the glaze cooks. Now, this doesn't turn into a super syrupy thick glaze, but when it's on the ham, it thickens and it is just magical. So about 1.5 hours after the ham goes in the oven, take it out and remove the foil, and you can see that skin is already kind of starting to sizzle and cook. So this is when you want to add the first layer of glaze. You just take a brush and generously dab it all over the surface. I just want to tell you, it is impossible to use too much glaze in this scenario. This glaze recipe is actually for a whole ham, so you can cut it in half if you like. But I always like to have a little more than enough just so I can be sure to get that beautifully glazed. Then it goes back into the oven. And you basically want to glaze it every 20 minutes. And I usually glaze mine a total of 3 to 4 times. So just brush the glaze. Oh, it is so gorgeous. I love a glazed Easter ham. Back into the oven. And let's glaze it again. Obviously, you can be cooking other dishes while the ham is baking. Oh, so pretty. So when it's all done, stick it back in for about 10 to 15 more minutes, pull it out and just cover it and keep it warm until mealtime. Now, pretty much like every holiday meal, I love to think about the sides. So I want to show you this creamy herby potato dish that I've made for approximately 35 years. It is so good. Melt 1 stick of butter in a large saucepan and add 1 chopped onion along with 5 cloves of garlic. And you want to stir this slowly over about 4 to 5 minutes. And you want the onions to get very, very soft. So when they get there, it's time to add a whole block of cream cheese. This is softened almost to room temperature, and it's going to look a little strange at first, but you just want to stir the cream cheese into the onions to start the melting process. And then when it's almost totally melted and incorporated, measure 1 cup of whole milk, pour it in while you stir everything together. But that is not creamy enough. We need 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. Yes, finally, that is creamy enough. And then stir this over about 3 minutes and make sure it's all melted together and creamy. Season with kosher salt and plenty of freshly ground pepper. I go a little overboard with freshly ground pepper because I happen to love it, but you do you and add as much as you want. Stir it, and then, as if this isn't delicious enough, it's time to add the herbs. I do a generous tablespoon each of parsley, rosemary, chives, and sage. It's just a celebration of all things herb. Stir it together. You can taste it and add more salt or pepper if you need it, but that is the sauce right there, and it is going to be beautiful with the potatoes. So that's it for the sauce. Now it's time to work on the potatoes. I'm using russet potatoes, and I scrubbed them really clean so they don't even need to be peeled. They do need to be sliced extremely thin, so you can use a really sharp knife. It takes a little bit of time. So if you do have a mandolin and you're skilled at using it, you can slice the potatoes using a mandolin. I have to say though, after all these years, mandolins still scare me, so just be really, really careful if you use one. So now it's time to butter a baking dish. This is actually technically a tart pan, but you can just use a regular 9x13. And then just take the potatoes. I used about 4 potatoes, by the way. And you want to just layer them in the dish, get them kind of tightly stacked on top of each other. Be sure to have an even layer. Put them out to the corners and the sides of the pan. And then when the potatoes are all set, it's time to pour this glorious sauce all over the potatoes. Now I go really slow because I want that sauce to seep into the cracks and crevices, get it all around the sides of the pan, and don't let any go to waste. You definitely want to scrape out all the extra. This is the most flavorful sauce. I love it. By the way, it's really good with pasta. Now, I like to sprinkle some really finely shredded Parmesan cheese all over the top. This is done on a microplane, so it's really, really light and fine, and it just bakes into a beautiful golden crust. So the potatoes bake at 350 degrees for about 45 minutes, and this is what they look like. Look at that golden topping. Then just set them aside and keep them warm until mealtime. Now we cannot forget about dessert, and I cannot think of a more perfect dessert at Easter time than carrot cake. And this is not just any carrot cake, it's Sigrid's carrot cake. Sigrid is a really good friend of my mom's, lifelong friend, and this is her recipe. I've never found one that I love more. The cake batter starts with 2 cups of sugar, a cup of vegetable oil, and 4 large eggs. Now, this cake batter actually works perfect whether you're making a bundt cake, a layer cake, or cupcakes. I have used it in so many different ways, and it always turns out great. So whisk in the eggs to the sugar and oil until it's totally mixed together. And then you can throw together the dry ingredients. And that's 2 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of baking powder and a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, and then I add 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon and about a half a teaspoon of cardamom. I love that flavor. Stir together the dry ingredients until they're totally mixed. And then it's time to combine the wet with the dry. Just add a good amount of the dry to the wet. And this is a cake batter that you want to be gentle with. You definitely don't want to use a hand mixer or a stand mixer. Just kind of fold it, stir it gently until it all comes together. It's not a cake to rush. And then when the dry and the wet are just about totally mixed together, you can add the carrots. I grated the carrots, and you want 2 generous cups. I like to grate them on the largest grate, so then you can see the carrots in the slices of cake. I mean, if you're gonna make a carrot cake, you wanna see the carrots. So then fold the carrots into the batter. And when the carrots are totally mixed in, it's time to bake this gorgeous cake. I am using a bundt pan because that is my favorite choice for this carrot cake. And just slowly pour the batter all around. I like to kind of see how long it takes me to dribble some of the batter onto the countertop. It usually happens, but I'm a messy cook and I'm okay with that. I have accepted that about myself. Smooth out the top, and then it goes into a 350-degree oven for about 30 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. And this is what it looks like when it's done. Just wait till you see it with the icing on. So set it aside to cool in the pan for about 15 or 20 minutes, and that is a good time to make the cream cheese frosting, which is a requirement for carrot cake. Start by sifting 1.5 pounds of powdered sugar, and then in a separate bowl, combine 1.5 blocks of softened cream cheese. That is 12 ounces. And then 1.5 sticks of butter. That's 3/4 of a cup. And it's salted butter that's softened. Use a mixer to mix this together until it's pretty fluffy and well combined. Then add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, or you could use vanilla bean paste if you happen to have some. That's delicious too. Mix a little bit more to get the vanilla all mixed in. And then add a couple of scoops at a time of the powdered sugar. You can do this with a stand mixer if you prefer, but if you try to mix it all together at once, you're gonna have a cloud of powdered sugar in your kitchen. So just a couple of scoops at a time, mix. And add more and mix. By the way, this is just basic all-purpose cream cheese frosting, and it is incredible. So in goes the last of the powdered sugar. I wish I had some pretzels. I would just dip a pretzel in there as a snack. Anyway, I'm gonna stay on message here. So when it's really combined and fluffy, add some toasted pecans. This is a generous 1/2 cup, and I toasted them in a skillet before I chopped them. So just stir gently to combine the pecans and the frosting. My goodness, I love that. So when the cake is cooled about halfway, put it on a cake stand or a platter and let it finish cooling. It needs to be completely cooled before you frost it. And I don't have a method to this madness. I just plop portions of the frosting all on top, and I use a dinner knife to frost cakes. It's my favorite frosting tool. And I just slowly start to kind of push the icing around. I let it fall naturally down the sides and just kind of keep adding, keep smearing until you get closer and closer to the bottom. Don't forget the inside of the ring when you use a bundt pan, and that is all frosted. So then I like to sprinkle a few more of the toasted pecans on the top of the cake. As a time saver on Easter, you can totally make this the day before and just keep it in the fridge and pull it out a couple of hours before you're going to serve it. Thank you, Sigrid. Okay, now it's time to pull this beautiful Easter meal together. Deviled eggs are a must, and I like to just make one base deviled egg recipe and then decorate the tops in different ways. The first kind has a little sliver of bacon and chives. For the second ones, I rolled a little piece of smoked salmon for the top of each one. It's supposed to look like a rose. I don't know if I got there or not. Some capers too. And then on the last variety, just paprika and parsley. And this is another thing you can make the day before Easter and just keep them in the fridge until it's time to serve them. I'm telling you, of all the things I serve on Easter, deviled eggs are the one thing that completely disappear. I never have leftovers, and I always ask myself why I don't make more, because I want leftover deviled eggs. I love to make a fruit salad with this orange vanilla syrup, which is so special. I just combine sugar, orange juice, orange zest, and vanilla. Cook it for a few minutes, let it cool, and then toss it with whatever fruit I happen to have. I'm using grapes, blueberries, strawberries, and chopped mint, but you can also add melon. I love honeydew melon in this salad as well. And then decorate the top with extra sprigs of mint and a little extra drizzle of the syrup, and that is good to go. Speaking of good to go, let's talk about these whiskey glazed carrots. Yes, I break out the whiskey on Easter, doesn't everybody? These are just cooked in butter and garlic and brown sugar, a little whiskey, and I sprinkle the top with thyme. Always a hit. These are the best. And it is very hard to imagine an Easter meal without roasted asparagus. I just drizzle asparagus with olive oil and a little melted butter, sprinkle on salt and pepper, and roast it at 425 for about 12 to 15 minutes. And then I put it on a platter, grate on some lemon zest, and it does not get any simpler or any better than this. And finally, a beautiful, perfect dinner roll brushed in melted butter, sprinkled with chopped rosemary and sea salt. Absolutely divine. Okay, this is where it all comes together. The table. Set out your favorite flowers, your favorite dishes, and of course, your favorite food with your favorite people, by the way. And honestly, that's what I love most about Easter. Spring is busting out all over. It's a gorgeous time of year, but it's also just about being together. I don't know if it's just my age or my sappiness, but I just love being with the people I love. I cherish the times more than ever. Usually we start the day by going to church, then we come home, have a great meal together, and then the kids put on their jeans and tennis shoes and have like a cutthroat Easter egg hunt. It is really fun and sometimes very interesting, but it's just great to be together and have a good time. So let's talk about this menu. It has never ever let me down. This beautiful ham, creamy herby potatoes. The flavor is out of this world. Gorgeous roasted asparagus. Beautiful whiskey glazed carrots. Just a little boozy, but that's okay. A couple of deviled eggs for me, please. Can't promise I won't go back for more. And then this gorgeous glossy fruit salad with orange vanilla syrup. And of course, a roll. Gotta love bread. Yay, carbs. But that is a meal to remember right there. And let's not forget Sigrid's carrot cake. I just want to show you this slice. I promised carrots, and there they are. Thanks for watching, friends, and I hope you have a great Easter.